Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Wanted to make sure that your technology was all set up and that you can hear me and see me. I also wanted you to see my mask, honestly. I won't be practicing with this mask on, but as you know, we're on campus, and so we're all donning masks. But at any rate, get your stuff together. If you don't have a mat, a blanket, or a towel will do. And if today you're feeling like a physical practice on the floor might be more than you're looking for, maybe you want to find yourself a nice solid chair to set up. So again, we'll start in a few minutes. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Foster told me I sounded like Mumbles with my mask on, but I was assured in person it sounded much more clear. I'm really glad to be here with you guys today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda McIntire, and I do all kinds of things on campus. One of my favorite things to do is to teach yoga for the OLLI program, which I've been doing since 2013. But I also teach yoga in other spaces on campus, and I also work in the main HR office, so you may have seen me before. But I know a lot of you have taken my class in the past because I keep being invited back to your knowledge exchange in the spring. I'm sorry we can't be together outside today, but be assured that we are in a very ventilated space, and Eric's got his mask on and is much further than 6 feet away from me. So we're in good air and good flow here. Today we're going to be talking about yoga and practicing some yoga. Unfortunately, I can't see all of your faces or your spaces that you're in. So if you're just still kind of getting yourself adjusted, please make sure that you're in a space where you can really focus on this practice today, where you can be safe so that, for example, if you stick your arms out, you're not going to knock a lamp over, that sort of thing. If you have a yoga mat or an exercise mat, that would be ideal for our practice. If you're someone who practices yoga regularly, maybe you have blocks, feel free to grab those. And if you're like, I don't have any of these things because I don't practice yoga, you can always use a blanket or a beach towel, something like that, to provide some cushioning and help protect you from the floor a little bit. Typically, yoga classes are voluntary. So usually people choose to show up to a yoga class, but this is a little different because this is a professional development opportunity for folks. So with that in mind, please do participate in class today, but if doing this physical practice on the floor is something that's really not going to work for you, I encourage you to find a seat, and like a legit solid seat, not sitting on your couch, but maybe like if you pull in a dining room table chair or that sort of thing. So you can really be sitting nice and upright and tall. And lucky me, because I've got Eric behind the camera sitting in a chair, and he does a great demo of chair yoga, but I couldn't get him to join me today. So I'm always psyched because you guys have these great themes that you do for your professional development. And I was told that this year your knowledge exchange was about complex systems. Awesome. Oh my gosh. There's so much that you can do with that. But initially when Kathy told me that I was doing a complex systems themed yoga class, I thought, ooh, that's complex. But the more that I thought about it, I was like, oh gosh, this is so exciting. This is totally relevant because we all live in one of the most complex systems that exist, and that's our bodies, right? Our bodies are made up of cells, which make up tissues, which make up organs, which make up all of the different systems in our bodies, which then all work together in concert for us to be living, moving beings. And the yoga practice recognizes this, recognized this, 1,000 years ago, that we are adaptable, complex systems, meaning that we have all of this different stuff going on that I just described. We also have our interactions that we have with the environment, but there's also energy centers in the body, all of these different pieces that come into the yoga philosophy, mostly related to energy, but most importantly, related to the mind. So the yoga practice recognizes that we have all of this stuff that's going on very naturally in this complex system of our body, and then we have this other piece coming in, which is our mind, which I think is just absolutely fascinating. And it's sort of this, this idea I was thinking about, our bodies are designed to have a specific reaction, for example, when we're in danger. So like we see a bear, we get scared, we have energy surging through us. Some describe it as anxiety or fear or that sort of thing. Our body automatically does that in order to protect us because we know that that's a danger. But isn't it interesting that for some of us, for example, maybe public speaking might elicit that same kind of response in the body because of fear or anxiety in order to protect ourselves. The yoga practice says that, hey, there are all these other things that we can do to help modify those patterns of thinking or those feelings that we have in the body, those thoughts that we have in the mind. And the yoga philosophy is big, so it's not just this like put your legs behind your head and be a pretzel sort of thing. The physical practice is just one component of it. There's an entire piece of yoga that is observances and abstentions. So in yoga, we're told to not harm people or things or ourselves, to be kind, to not steal, to be honest, to create spaces for ourselves that are healthy, all these different pieces. And then there's this physical practice that we do where we stretch, we breathe, we meditate. And all of these things in concert can help change our patterns of thinking, can change our wellness. So I'm super excited to share that with you today. And I found this excellent graphic that for those of you who have maybe studied yoga before might find familiar to you. I'm hoping Eric can zoom in on it. You don't have to actually understand what it is that you're looking at. It's a human sitting in a lotus position, and then there are several chakras that are, which are energy systems. They're the big dots throughout the body, but then there's all these squiggly lines that you see. Dots and squiggly lines and stuff. And that is the yogic view of our body. Those are all of the energy channels that are included in the yogic philosophy. So definitely complex and kind of cool. So today as we go through our practice, this is an all levels kind of a yoga class, which means it's for everybody. So whether you have a regular yoga practice, whether this is the first time you have ever done yoga before, I want you to really be kind to yourself and do what works best for you in your body. But as we go through this practice together this morning, I'm going to invite you to focus on different elements of the yoga practice that influence our bodies and our minds and help to shift this complex system that's in our body, whether it's impacting our nervous system, our pulmonary system, our digestive system. So we're going to play around with that a little bit today. So please be kind to yourselves. Again, I'm so glad that you're here and appreciative to everyone in CDE for supporting OLLI and these yoga opportunities. Let's start by finding a comfortable seat wherever you're at. And a comfortable seat is the best that you can do. So sometimes it's not 100% comfortable. You can be sitting on the floor, on a blanket, maybe you're sitting on a chair. Wherever you're at, make sure that the weight is even between both of your hips. And sit up nice and tall, extending the crown of the head up towards the ceiling and relaxing your shoulders down by your ears. Feel whatever portions of your body are connected to the floor rooted down. Place your hands on your knees or thighs and close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze. If you're sitting in a chair, feel your feet pressing into the floor to help you sit up a little bit taller and a little bit brighter. Begin to connect with your breath here, just noticing it as it moves in and out of your body. With every inhale, sit up a little bit taller. With every exhale, allow the shoulders to relax. Allow yourself to settle into this seat. And do a little scan of yourself here. Notice if there are any places of discomfort in the body that you could help remedy. Notice the muscles of your face. Are they relaxed, or are you trying really hard to be relaxed? See if you can soften your face muscles. Check in with your mind. Are you able to connect with the breath and let everything go? Or is your inner dialogue continuing? Is it telling you, yay, this is awesome, I'm practicing yoga first thing in the morning? Or are you hearing a voice of, oh, I can't do yoga. I can't touch my toes. What am I doing? Wherever you're at in the mind, I invite you to bring the focus back to the breath. Bring your awareness to your senses. Just noticing anything that you might hear besides the sound of my voice. The humming of electricity, kids in the background, F-35s. Bring your awareness to your sense of smell. Are you able to smell anything this morning? Or maybe you're still a little stuffy from waking up. Maybe your windows are open and you can smell blossoms outside. Maybe you're practicing in your laundry room and you can smell laundry nearby. Bring your awareness to your vision, whether your eyes are closed or at a soft gaze, just noticing the light coming in, any movements or squiggles that might come across your vision. Bring your awareness to sensations in the body. The expanding and contracting of the lungs. Maybe you're feeling a breeze through your hair or warmth on your skin. meditation is really more of a focus than a sitting with a completely blank mind. And so one of the ways to influence the complex system of our body through yoga is through this meditation practice. And one way to do that is to focus on different senses, different parts of the body. Take a couple more full deep breaths here, sitting up nice and tall. And then bring your palms together in prayer position in front of your heart. We're going to start our practice this morning by chanting the Sound of Ohm together. And you can chant it as loudly or as softly as you would like. The Sound of Ohm comes from the very base of our belly, all the way up through the esophagus, up through the throat, up through the top of the mouth, and then out through the lips. So there's this vibration that comes deep within where we start very low and then have it come out through the mouth. And this sort of a movement internally, as well as that sound and vibration, influences our nervous system. So we're going to chant it just one time and try it out. Hey, especially if you're home alone, maybe try belting it out. So sit up nice and tall. Take a full exhale. And a full inhale for Om. Release your hands, gently let your eyes flutter open. Nice job. If you're sitting up on a block, you may want to remove it. If you're on a blanket, that is just fine. We're going to start by sitting up nice and tall in a cross-legged seat. So something like this. Excellent. Weight even between both hips. Crown of the head extending up towards the sky. And notice I have my fingertips down by my sides. Your arms might be longer, so you could actually plant your hands on the floor. But lots of space through the shoulders. Gently tip the right ear over towards the right shoulder. And as you exhale, drop the chin down towards the chest as you work your way over towards the left side. Once you reach the left, work your way over towards the right. We're just dropping the chin down towards the chest, so this is just a half circle. Opening up the back of the neck. We'll do one more round of those. And if you're someone who tends to go more quickly with things, maybe try changing it up and going a little bit slower. And if you went really, really slow, maybe think about going a little bit faster. Using the power of our mind to influence change in the body, in our natural tendencies. And then bring your head back to center. Excellent. Extend both legs straight out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to bend the right knee and bring the hands around the right shin. Nice. So we're still warming up here. We're going to do a gentle twist. Bring your right fingertips to the floor behind you. Left arm on the outside of the bent knee. This left arm can help you facilitate the twist a little bit further, but we're still warming up the spine. So really be kind to yourself here. As you exhale, gently unwind back to center, and we'll switch sides. Extend the right leg out. Bring the left knee in. Sit up nice and tall. That's why I hold the shin first. So it kind of helps prop me up. And then gently twist to the left, bringing the right arm on the outside of the knee. And one of the things that's really cool about twists is that we're moving our internal organs. We're getting some movement going in places that don't necessarily experience much movement or ringing, specifically the digestive system here. Exhale to unwind back to center, come to a cross-legged seat. Inhale and float the arms up overhead. Spread your fingers really, really wide. Take a look up towards your hands if you can. But hey, if this bothers your neck or it makes you feel dizzy, take a look straight ahead towards me. We're going to stretch the fingers across the hands. So thumbs, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and so on. Really stretching the hands. Nice. Do some circles with your wrists. Maybe notice, are they actually circles? Maybe they're like more zigzaggy. Switch directions. Notice if they're smooth. All right, come to stillness with the hands. Clasp them up above you and press the palms up towards the ceiling. Keep your shoulders down on your back. So there's a tendency, especially those of us who are overachievers, we want to get our hands up as high as we possibly can. In this posture, we want to have some nice space through the shoulders. As you exhale, round the spine, press your hands towards me. Press the shoulder blades towards the back of the room. Your belly is tucked in, the chest is hollow here. Inhale, bring the hands back up. And exhale to release. Nice job. All right, extend your right leg out and bring the sole of the left foot on the inner thigh. I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. In this posture, make sure that the weight is still even between both of your hips. Turn your torso towards the right leg. Inhale to reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, we're going to hinge forward over the extended leg. Now, a couple of things here. We're working on having this leg straight. However, if your knee needs to be bent for whatever reason, do that. If it needs to be a soft bend or something deeper, this can be really intense in the back of the hamstrings, and we're just warming up. So be really kind to yourself here. I invite you to take your left hand on the outside of the leg so that you're continuing to twist the torso. Nice. All right, reach through your fingertips. Inhale to come on up. As you exhale, we're going to twist once again, bringing the left hand behind. Right hand is on the bent knee. And you're really staying strong in your hips and torso so that this hand on the floor behind you just has very little weight in it. Keep your right hand on the bent knee. As you inhale, reach your left arm over towards the extended foot. So that's over towards your right foot. Keep your left hip grounded. And again, check in with yourself here. How's this feeling in the body? How's it feeling in the mind? I encourage you to remember that in this posture, we're not really concerned if we can grab the foot or not. So if you're here going, oh man, I wish the foot was closer, or if you're here and you're like, I'm so awesome because I can grab my foot, both of those are ways to be. We're not necessarily needing to grab the foot today. We're trying to open up through the left side of the body. All right, inhale to come back up. We're going to take the left hand and plant it on the floor. You're going to shift your weight into the front shin and inhale to reach your right fingertips up overhead. So my right leg is straight, my right foot is grounded, and my right hand is lifted. I'm on my left shin and my left hand is planted. Really reach through the fingertips, reach through the planted foot. We're trying to open up through the hip. Exhale to release that. And then we'll switch sides. So extend the left leg out, sole of the right foot comes on the inside. And then once again, adjust yourself so the weight's even between your hips. Turn your torso and inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, keeping shoulders away from the ears. Having the leg as straight as can be, but giving yourself the freedom to have some bend. And the right hand should come on the outside of the left leg. Maybe your hands can connect to the floor, but if you're somewhere connected to the leg, that's a perfect place to be as well. Inhale to come back up to center. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Bring your left hand to the bent knee, right hand to the floor. As you inhale, sit up a little taller. As you exhale, maybe you can twist a little deeper on this side as we're warming up, getting more motion internally. Inhale to reach your right arm up overhead towards the extended leg. Maybe you get a little closer, maybe not. But keep pressing the right hip into the floor. Nice. Inhale and come back to center. We're going to plant the right hand on the floor, lean into the right shin. As you inhale, sweep the left arm up overhead. Left leg is straight. Left foot is connected to the floor. Check in with your breath. Get really full breaths here. Exhale and release back down. Nice job. Let's scoot around and come onto our hands and knees in a tabletop position. And this is a nice time to make yourself more comfortable. If your knees are tender, for example, you may want to consider using a blanket underneath them. But find yourself with your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees, and we'll start getting motion in the spine. So inhale, drop the belly and chest and look up. As you exhale, round the spine, pull the belly in, press the shoulders up towards the ceiling. Inhale once again, drop the belly and chest and look up. And if you're in a chair, for example, you can put your hands on your knees and inhale, bringing the chest forward, exhaling to round the spine. Do a few more of these in your own breath. And come back to a neutral spine, flat back. Nice and strong, extend your right arm directly out in front. Engage all the muscles of both arms, hug in at the inner thighs, and then extend the left leg directly behind you. This is a balanced table pose, so you might find that this feels a little bit wobbly or that it's challenging your strength. Awesome. I invite you to embrace that. If you're feeling wobbly, hug in at the thighs, pull the belly in. Maybe notice the fact that you're getting a little stronger here. Lower your right hand down to the floor. Extend your left foot over towards the right side and take a look over your right shoulder for a bit of a side bend. Stay strong in the belly. Inhale and bring the leg back to center. Lower the knee down. Take any movements you need to feel good here. Sometimes wiggling the hips or shaking out the wrists will help. If that was a little rough on your wrists, feel free to walk your hands forward a little bit more, or you can always elevate the heels of your hands. All right, other side. Nice and strong, extend the left arm out. Inhale, extend the right leg behind. That right foot is flexed with the toes pointed towards the floor, and it's like you're pressing your right foot to the wall behind you, so the leg's as straight as it can be. And all of that engagement helps with stability in the posture. Steady breath. Nice. Lower the left hand. Extend the right foot to the left side of you and take a look over your left shoulder. Nice and strong. Make your way back to center. Lower the right knee down, and let's do some circles with the hips. So we're just shifting the weight forward and back. And don't get caught up on this idea of creating an actual perfect circle, although if you can, that's cool. Switch directions. It might be more oblong or some other shape altogether, but do something that feels good for you here. All right, nice job. Come back to stillness. Bring your big toes together, knees are wide, and make your way back to child's pose, Balasana. In this posture, you're moving your hips back towards your heels. Your hands are extended up towards the top of your mat. This is one of those postures for immediately changing your energy and shutting out the world, turning everything inward. On your next inhale, gently come back up to all fours. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches, knees back a couple of inches. Tuck your toes and make your way into a plank, which is the top of a push-up. Now, some of us, when plank pose comes along, we're like, yes, this is great. I love doing these strengthening postures. For others of us, this is not necessarily our favorite. I encourage you to take advantage of this posture, building some strength in the body. Shoulders are over wrist. Your core is engaged, so you're pulling in at the belly. Your tailbone is tucked, and it's pointing towards your heels, and your legs are straight. Make sure that you're breathing. Know that you can drop your knees at any point. And see if in this plank posture, you can shift your thought patterns. So if your thought patterns are like, yeah, this is awesome, I'm the best, see if you can maybe quiet them and calm them a little. If you're giving yourself a hard time, maybe see if you can turn it around into some strength. All right, you're doing an awesome job. Move your hips up and back to downward dog. That means you're pressing into the hands. Again, if you need to drop to your knees, this is your practice, and you're not along with everybody else, so you can do what works best for your body. If you need to take child's pose, please do. Walk your feet up towards your hands so that you're coming to the top of your mat at a forward fold. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel. You're hinged at the hips and your legs are as straight as they can be. Grab opposite elbows. Let your head relax, letting the crown of your head point towards the floor. Keeping the lower body steady, just gently let the torso rock from side to side in ragdoll. Nice. In the yoga practice, these forward folding postures are considered the more calming and introspective postures. So when we're looking to find that energy, we fold forward. Release the elbows. Bend your knees as you inhale. Reach your arms wide. Come all the way up. Notice where your energy is at right now. So very different than being folded forward. When we're extending and expanding, this is where we're finding energy, openness. Make sure that your stomach is tucked in here. Tuck your tailbone if you're someone who tends to have your hips tilted forward. Come back to center, connect the palms, exhale, and bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. All right. Find yourself at the top of your mat. So we are exploring so many things, all of these different systems in the body, meditation, moving every different part of our body, and breath work is part of that as well. It's called pranayama in the yoga practice. So we'll do a little bit of a breath sequence. Find your feet hips distance apart and parallel. Get your legs engaged. So we're engaged through the feet, through the shins, kneecaps, and thighs. Core is nice and strong, so the low belly's tucked in, ribs are tucked in, and you're standing up nice and tall. Release your arms down by your sides. Keep your feet rooted. Inhale, float your arms up, keep the shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, bend your knees as deeply as you can, fold forward, pressing all the air out of the lungs. Inhale to come up halfway to a flat back. Hands are on your thighs, elbows are tucked in. Nice long neck and spine. Exhale, bend the knees deeply. Exhale all the air out. Press into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. Full breath. Exhale and hands come to heart center. We'll do that a couple more times. Big breaths here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees really deeply. Exhale. Inhale to a flat back. Hands are on the thighs. Nice long spine. Exhale, bend the knees, drop the head. Press into your feet. Inhale, reach the arms wide as you come all the way up. And exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, nice big breath. And exhale, hinge at the hips, knees bend deeply. Air comes all the way out. Inhale up halfway to a flat back. A little traction in the spine. Exhale deeply here. Bend the knees. Press into your feet. Inhale, reach the arms wide as you come all the way up. And bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes for just a moment and just notice how you're feeling right now. And maybe you feel exactly the same as you felt a few minutes ago. Or maybe something has shifted. Maybe the heart's beating a little bit faster. Maybe you're feeling a little fuzzy in the mind or in the body. Maybe you're feeling really clear. Just notice if all of that breath and movement shifted anything for you. Release your hands and open your eyes. Find yourself up at the top of your mat. Have to balance in a yoga class. And balancing is such a great example of these ways that we have some natural tendencies and we can also adapt. And we also end up with a lot of stuff going on in the mind. So as we go through balancing today, please be kind to yourself. Try your best. And there is no end result. It's just you doing the best you can today. Bring your awareness to your left foot, firmly rooted to the floor. Start to shift your weight as you stand up nice and tall. And begin to free your right foot and just see if you can come up to your toe. Just nice and light on the toe. Now, for some of us, this might be plenty. And there might be some really amazing things going on where suddenly this left leg is even more engaged than you could have imagined, and the ankle is doing a bunch of work. So if you're right here and this is where you need to stay, totally cool. If you're feeling like, yeah, I've got some balance going on today, I invite you to flex the right foot and see if you can lift the knee somewhere up in front of the body. Again, wherever you're at, as long as you're listening to your body and being kind to yourself, is perfect. Gently step your right toes back to a high lunge. Nice. If you have to take a couple of steps to get there, that's fine. Scoot your left foot over to the edge of the mat a little more so you have a wider stance, and let your right toes scoot behind you. If you sink deeper into this posture, you'll get a nice hamstring stretch on the right, not hamstring stretch, thigh stretch on the right side. Getting into the psoas, hip flexor. Inhale and float the arms up. And keep everything nice and tight. So we're hugging in at the thighs and at the belly. We're going to try a little bit of a back bend here, arching back, looking up towards the ceiling. Now that may challenge your balance a lot. And so maybe today you're just like lifting your eyebrows or looking towards the sky rather than arching back. Or maybe you're feeling super balanced and you're really opening up through the heart. If you are, notice what that feels like. That influences our circulatory system and our pulmonary system. Inhale to come back to center. Nice job. Release your hands down towards the floor. Step your right foot forward and come to a forward fold. Let your hands connect to something here. So maybe it's a block, the floor, or your hands, your shins. Nice. Bend your knees deeply. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Nice job. All right. Other side. Bring your awareness to your right foot and feel it firmly rooted. Stand up nice and tall with all of the muscles of the body engaged. And then start to shift your weight, and everyone come up, if you're able to, up to the left toe. So my interest in this posture is you being as stable and strong as you can possibly be. And that might mean needing to adjust your mind and your own perception of where you think that you should be. So that's powerful stuff. Try it out. It's all a practice. If you're able, maybe you can flex your left foot and lift the knee a little bit higher. Notice, is there any adjustments going on in the body automatically to help you keep this position? Gently step your left toes back to a high lunge. And if it helps, scoot the right foot more towards the edge of the mat. Scoot the left toes back. If you sink the hips, you can get more of that opening through the hip. On an inhale, float your arms up overhead. Take a look up towards the ceiling. And if it feels okay for you today, try doing a little bit of a back bend. This is definitely a challenging posture for the balance and for strength in the legs. So feel free to challenge yourself or to make the choice that you know that maybe this isn't a good idea for you. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to bring your hands towards the floor and step your left foot forward, coming to a forward fold once again. Relaxing the head. Exhaling to sink a little bit deeper. Bend your knees. Inhale, reach your arms wide as you come all the way up. And exhale to bring your hands to heart center. All right, we're going to do a slight variation on this balance. Bring your awareness to your left foot once again, standing up nice and tall. Core is nice and strong. Shift your weight and come on up to your right toe once again. Now, if you're able to get the knee up higher, go for it. If you're not, don't worry about it, but stand as tall and as stable as you can. Now, wherever you're at might be plenty for you this morning, and if it is, that's cool. Keep working on it. Really build that strength. Notice any changes in the body. But if you'd like a little extra challenge, we're going to try a twist. So in this twist, you take your left hand to the outside of the right knee. The right arm comes behind you. And then maybe, depending on where you're at today, maybe you can even turn your head and take a look at the hand behind you. And certainly if you're sitting in a chair, this is something that you can do and not put so much work onto the standing ankle, that's for sure. If you're in the twist, gently unwind back to center. Everyone lower the foot down to the floor and shake it out a little bit. So lots of things come up in these balance postures, and even more comes up when we start to twist, right? It's a little disorienting. It makes the balance a little more funky. So really great job for trying it out wherever it is that you're at with it today. Let's see what the other side brings. And you may find that it's easier for you to step off your mat if you're on a mat. Sometimes if you're on squishy carpeting, that can be a little challenging. Bring your awareness to the right foot. Stand up nice and tall. Start to shift the weight so that you're free in the left foot. And if you're feeling steady here and want to try lifting the left knee up towards hip height, do that. You can stay where you're at, or you can take the right hand on the outside of the bent knee, even if your foot's connected to the floor, and extend the left arm behind you. And maybe even try turning and taking a look at the hand behind you. And if you fall out of the posture, that's awesome, because it meant you were trying it. And it's your choice. If you want to get back into it, go for it. And if you're like, no, I think I've had enough of that one today, that's absolutely fine. As you exhale, gently unwind back to center. Release the foot down to the floor. Shake it out a little bit. Really nice job. All right, find mountain pose once again. Inhale and float the arms up. Exhale, sit back to chair pose, Utkatasana. In this posture, your weight is shifted more back towards the heels. The hips are moving back, sort of like you're going to sit in a chair, but your prankster friend is pulling the chair out from underneath you. So you got to stay really strong in the legs so you don't fall back. Arms are extended up by your ears. And I love using this posture as an example of the power of the mind and the body, because for me personally, I really don't like chair pose. I think it's really boring, and I think it's kind of hard. Now, other people love it, which is awesome, which is one of many reasons that I teach it. But if you find that you're in a posture, whether it's chair pose or something else, and your mind is working against you, what can you do to change it? So here's what I've decided to do in chair pose. Bring your palms together in front of you, arms extended. As you inhale, start to open your right arm out to the side and see if you can follow your thumb with your gaze. Now, if your legs are getting tired, you're always welcome to come out of the squat, but otherwise maybe take advantage of it. Once you've reached as far behind you as you can, gently guide the arm back forward. And then we'll do the other side. So begin to open the left arm. Make sure that your knees are still pointing straight ahead. And once you've reached as far back as you can, start to come back forward. And notice if this changed your feelings about chair pose at all. Maybe not. For the way that my mind works, even though that's a little bit of a more difficult version of chair pose, the movement and the focus makes it easier to handle in my mind. So maybe you have that experience as well. Bring your hands together at your heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips, straighten the legs. Oh, good job. Let your head relax. Walk yourself back to a downward facing dog. And if it helps, sometimes coming into plank first and then pushing up to down dog will help you figure out where your hands and feet go. But your hands are shoulder width apart or wider. Feet are hips distance apart. Lower the knees. And we're going to step the right foot forward to a low lunge. Now make any adjustments that you need to here. If you need to cushion your back knee, go for it. But find yourself standing up nice and tall on the left knee. Core is engaged. Inhale and float the arms up. Little bit of a back bend, looking up towards the ceiling. Come back to center. Bring your hands to your hips. And then, if it feels good for you, shift the weight in your hips forward. Notice how far forward my knee is coming. Notice how big this angle is in my left hip. This can give you a nice, deep inner thigh stretch. Psoas. Exhale, shift the hips back as you straighten the front leg for a runner stretch. And we're trying to get this leg as straight as we can, so you might need to use your hand to guide it, but the hips are moved back. This leg is as straight as can be, and you're extending your torso over the straightened leg. And I say that, I know that some of us probably have a pretty bent knee here, and that's totally fine. We're working on trying to get into the hamstrings, but in a gentle way, so be good to yourself. All right, one more time. Bend into the front knee. Left hand comes to the side of the leg as you sweep the right arm behind you for a twist. Take some full, deep breaths here, really maximizing the oxygen, maximizing the movement and space in the body. Exhale to unwind back to center. We'll switch sides. So hands come to the floor, bring the right knee back as you step the left foot forward, and do what you need to get yourself situated here. Excellent. Stand up nice and tall, strong in the belly. Inhale to float the arms up. Take a look up towards the ceiling, open through the collarbones. Release your hands down to your hips, and then shift the weight in the hips forward, opening up through the right quad and hip flexor. Only go as far as feels good for you. If you need to go a little deeper, do that. All right, gently start to shift the hips back as we work to straighten the front leg. We're flexing the toes. And just as a demo, this can also be a nice place to use blocks if the floor seems rather far away. But straighten the leg as much as you can. Extend the torso over the straightened leg. And we're flexing the feet up towards the ceiling. So these left toes are pulling up and back to really access the back of the leg. Bend into the front knee once again. Right hand comes to the side of the knee. Inhale and sweep the left arm behind you. If you can, maybe look at that thumb in the distance. All right, gently exhale and unwind. Bring both hands down to the floor, and we're going to scoot around to a seat. And make yourself comfortable. If you need some water, do that. We'll start by bringing the soles of the feet together for cobbler pose or Baddha Konasana. And hands can come either to the feet or to the ankles and shins. And you decide, how far you want your feet from your body. Some of us, it feels more comfortable here. Some of us, it's more comfortable out here. And I'm not concerned about the distance between your knees and the floor. The intention in this posture is for you to root down in the hips and naturally allow for an opening on the inner thighs. Using the hands, hold on to the feet or shins and do a little bit of a back bend here. So I'm holding on as I arch back. Still breathing. And then on your next exhale, you're going to round the spine, pull the belly in. You can free your hands and let them walk forward as you fold in on your cobbler pose. Inhale and come back up. Use your hands to gently guide the knees together and extend both legs straight out in front of you. Dandasana or staff pose. Sit up nice and tall here with your fingertips or palms on either side of the hips. Inhale and float the arms up. All this energy, space, and light. As you exhale, we're going to hinge forward. Notice the compression, turning inward. Keep some distance between your ears and shoulders here. So if you find that your shoulders are up by your ears because you're trying to reach really far, I invite you to not reach as far and find space between the ears and shoulders. Part of the idea in the yoga philosophy is trying to let go of our ego to do what's best for our bodies. And for some of us, part of that is like, I want to reach as far as I possibly can. And yoga is a practice of wellness and not a competition with ourselves. Walk your hands in as the torso rises up. Come to a wide-legged seat. And it doesn't have to be the widest seat you have ever done. We're just looking to have you sit up nice and tall at an angle, having the knees and toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Turn your torso towards the right leg. As you exhale, hinge forward, bringing your hands wherever's comfortable for you. So it might be the shin, it might be the foot or the floor. Try to keep your left hip rooted. Walk your hands through center. Sit up nice and tall, and we'll go over towards the left side. Keep the right hip rooted, lots of space in the neck and shoulders. And come back up to center. Use your hands to gently guide the knees together. Sit up nice and tall, bringing your hands behind your thighs. Engage your abdominals again. So low belly tucks in, ribs tuck in. And on an exhale, see if you can tip back and maybe get your toes off of the floor for boat pose. In this posture, we're using our abdominal muscles to stay up nice and tall. And this might be plenty for you, but if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring your shins to parallel or free your hands. And if you want a little bit of an extra challenge, you can take your peace fingers and grab a hold of your big toes. And this might be it, because this might be a challenge for the balance here. Or you can try joining me in a reclined, wide-legged seat. And yours might look a little bit more, it might have straight legs, it might have bent legs. Wherever you're at, you're just trying your best. You might roll backwards and then come back up again. Just try to have fun with it. In this posture, we're trying to use very specific muscles in order to balance on the hips. All right, if you're holding on to the toes, bring the shins back to parallel, and everyone release their feet down to the floor. Scoot on up towards the top of your mat so that the toes are right up at the very top. And then from here, we're going to lay down onto our backs. And we'll begin with the feet flat on the floor and the knees bent. And find a nice long spine here. So now that you're laying down, do a little bit of scooching to have all of the vertebrae find a nice alignment. See if you can get the shoulders down away from the ears. It helps to push the back of the head into the mat, lift them up, and then nestle them down. Arms come down by your sides with your palms face down. Walk your feet in towards your body as we prepare for bridge pose. So your feet are hips distance apart. They're close to the body, almost so that your fingertips could even maybe graze the back of your heels. Press into your feet and slowly lift your hips up for bridge pose, looking up towards the ceiling. Using all those muscles in the hips, the low back, the glutes. Exhale, begin to lower the hips back down towards the mat. And just as they're about to touch the floor, inhale and start to reach them back up towards the ceiling. Nice and strong. Maybe you can even push into the feet more and get the hips up a little bit higher. Exhale to gently lower them back down. And once both hips connect to the mat, hug your knees in towards your chest and gently rock from side to side or front and back. Lower your left foot on the floor, extend your right foot up towards the ceiling, and then walk your hands up the leg as far as is comfortable and pull the right leg a little bit closer to the body. See if you can use your breath to relax that right hip. Keep your left foot pressing into the floor so that you've got some engagement on the left side. Relax your right foot and do some circles with the ankle. And reverse direction with the circles. Come to stillness with the foot and spread your toes really, really wide, like as wide as you can. And then relax the foot, flexing it up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh and pull both legs in towards the body for a reclined figure four. A couple of options with the hands. One is to keep your left hand on the floor and use your right hand to press on the right knee and inner thigh a little bit to get more of a stretch there. Another option is to reach through the gap and wrap your hands around the back of the left thigh or shin, depending on how open you are. Keep both feet flexed and be really kind to yourself here. We're all different in the hips, so for some of us, this is a really intense stretch. So be kind to yourself. Release both feet down to the floor and extend the left foot up towards the ceiling, walking your hands up as far as works for you. Pull the leg a little bit closer to the body if you can. And do some circles with the ankle. Keep breathing here. And then switch directions with the circles. Nice. Come to stillness with the foot. And then flex it up towards the ceiling one more time, really engaging through the back of the leg. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh and bring the legs in towards the body. Again, two options. One is to keep the right hand on the floor with the left hand pushing on the inner left thigh. Another option is to reach through the gap with hands around the right thigh or shin. Keeping the feet flexed helps protect the knees here. Release both feet down to the floor. Extend your arms out to a T and bring your knees in towards your chest. Gently let the knees go over towards the right side as your head turns towards the left. It might help to scoot your right hip underneath you a little bit more for this twist. Gently unwind back to center. Knees are bent with your feet flat on the floor. And then press your feet into the mat, lift the hips up, and just scoot them over towards the right side a little bit. Let your knees fall over towards the left. If it feels good, you can turn your head towards your right hand. And we're getting ready to move into our final posture of Shavasana. For people who don't practice yoga regularly, sometimes Shavasana is a mystery. And it seems like a really easy posture to skip and get on with your day. But particularly with this complex systems practice that we just did, bring your knees back to center, bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. We just engaged everything in the body. We meditated, we used breath, we moved every muscle and body part. We even got some movement going on in the internal organs. Shavasana is your opportunity to let all of this work, all of this stimulus integrate into the body. So you can stay right where we are right now for Shavasana. Another option is to have your feet wide and let your knees fall in on one another. And a traditional Shavasana is the legs extended straight out on the mat with your feet mat width apart, and you just let your feet relax off to the sides. Everyone should nestle their shoulders down on their back. Have your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. And close your eyes. And allow yourself to feel the effects of this practice for just a couple more minutes. I will take care of leading you out of it. But in this moment, enjoy the solid feeling of that floor beneath you. Connect with your breath, and with every exhale, feel yourself melting a little bit more into your mat. Just rest. There's no more effort in your practice today. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. And let some movement return back into your fingers and into your toes. On your next inhale, extend your arms up overhead, extend your legs out nice and long so you're laying on your back with this nice long stretch from your fingertips to your feet. Hug your knees in towards your chest as you roll onto your right side. And then using as little effort as possible, make your way up to a seat, sitting up nice and tall like we did in the beginning. And close your eyes, bringing your hands together at heart center when you've found your seat. I'm so eternally grateful to CDE and the OLLI program for allowing me to do what it is that I do. And I hope that today you learned a little bit about how the yoga philosophy and the yoga practice approaches the human body for what it is, which is a really adaptable, complex system through movement and breath and meditation and focus. All of these things together work in concert for us to have a better overall sense of health and well-being. Pretty cool. We're going to close our practice by chanting the sound of Ohm, that vibration we started with in the beginning. We'll just chant it one time, and you can chant as loudly or as softly as you'd like. Take a full exhale. And an inhale for Ohm. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you with great respect. Namaste. You did it. Thank you so much for your participation and for being here today. Really great job. My name's Amanda McIntire. I mentioned at the beginning, if you have questions or anything, you're always welcome to email me. Thanks, everybody. Have a really great day.